Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It's your boy Zach, and this is Zach Attack Reviews. Today I'm going to be breaking down the good, the bad, and the ugly for Masters of the Universe Revelation. Masters of the Universe Revelation picks off where the 1985-1986 classic show He-Man and the Masters of the Universe left off. We're going in. I thought it was going to be like a reboot of the show and starting fresh with new animation and everything, but it's actually a sequel to the 1985 show. So all you old heads out there, this show is a continuation of that show that we used to watch when we were younger. They've tried to reboot this show, make live action TV shows and movies for so long, and it just hasn't worked. But Kevin Smith, the great Kevin Smith, we all know him, decided to push forward and write a new story for us. 5 episodes on Netflix in an anime style. I'm going to break down what I like about the show first. I'm going to talk about the good. I like the story that they were trying to tell here. They were trying to progress the mythos of He-Man. A lot of He-Man is stuck in the past in the original version of the series, He-Man, the Masters Universe. And here they're trying to push it forward, add some sci-fi elements to it while really pushing the magic and having the themes of is magic bringing down the world, and kind of how like back in the real life they thought witches and warlocks were the devil and everything like that, and also how technology is make people colder. A lot of those themes are in the show, which is surprising because He-Man and the Master Universe, the original series, didn't had like kiddie themes in those shows. It wasn't really anything super deep, so I like that they try to add a layer there that wasn't in your face, so if you weren't looking for it, you're not going to see it, but if you see it, you see it. You know what I mean? The show picks off with Teela, one of the main characters from the original series, being involved in a celebration. They're anointing her the Man-at-Arms because of what she's done and what the great things that she's done, and she rightfully deserves it if you watch the original series. And from there, everything is calm, everything, you've just seen the fun interactions between the characters, the classic characters that we know from the series, and obviously Skeletor's around and he's causing mayhem, and this causes the characters to go out into battle. And this is where things veer off a little bit. The story is surprising, and the turn it takes. Kevin Smith and the writers and the directors here decided to try something new here with some of the characters and the main characters that, it will be hit or miss for certain people. If you like certain twists to classic stories, you definitely will like this. But if you like your stories to be the same how you remember it and just want more of that, then what they did here, especially in the first episode, may not hit with you. And I totally understand that there's no right or wrong with this show. Another thing I liked here is that the animation was drawn in a way where it looked like the old animation, like it was drawn in that style, the figure and everything, but just updated. And the action scenes were more anime-like, which really helped a lot of the action. And also the CGI was used in the right way. It wasn't too much, because sometimes in animated shows, I don't like the overabundance of CGI. It looks really bad. And this show used it with the magic in the right ways, and I really appreciate that. There's not a ton of action in this show, but when it's done really well, especially my favorite episode, episode 4, where all the good quirkiness of a He-Man show, plus the new themes that they were mixing in, came all together really well for me. And there was a great action scene that Teela was a part of that really drew me in. It was really choreographed and animated really well. This show is a PG-13 show, now maybe even just PG, and they really push that PG. There is a lot of insinuation, but you can kind of tell what's going on. There's no gore or anything crazy going on in the show that kids can't watch, but you as an adult, you can kind of fill in the blanks with your head, and they really push the limits up until that point, which I really liked. Sometimes with PG shows, it's just like the action doesn't hit, and here the action was hitting because they were pushing the boundaries of almost going R-rated. I also like the fact that they shook up the formula a little bit with the Masters of the Universe. You notice that it doesn't say He-Man in the Masters of the Universe. This is more of an ensemble cast show. It's more about everyone in the show other than just He-Man and Andrew, and I really like that they did that, because these days you can't just have one main character and have kind of a bunch of side characters that really don't have any personality or do anything. You need to have an ensemble just in case if they don't like that main character, there's other characters they can latch onto. And I latched onto a couple characters. I'm a fan of He-Man. I grew up with the series, and I really like the character. He's very old school, but it's just something endearing about the, not naivete, but the pureness of his character. So that was really great. And Tila and the sorcerers, and even Skeletor, the great Mark Hamill voices him. He did sound a little bit like Joker playing Skeletor, but it wasn't too bad. He still did a great job in my opinion. Also, them taking some risks with some surprising deaths in this show. I was really shocked watching the show, seeing who died, who lived. All that happened in 5 episodes. This is a quick watch. I think each episode is like 30 minutes long, and it really took some chances here. That's, like I said before, with some of the themes and changes that they made, it's going to be hit or miss for some people. If a fan favorite, your character dies off, you're probably going to end up hating the show. But I like the risk that they were taking, showing that there was actual stakes, like things mattered. I feel like sometimes maybe in the old school 80 cartoons, things didn't really matter. They were just really entertaining and cheesy. And now that I'm talking about cheese, I'm going to transition into the bad. The cheesiness of the show is they keep some of the essence of the old 80s show, which, can be great if you're looking for the nostalgia. But if you're somebody new or somebody that's grown past that, some of the dialogue is just really cringy. Yeah, it was just, they were making a lot of cringy jokes, and they were saying a lot of 80s vernacular where, power of friendship and all that stuff. But I looked past it because it wasn't terrible, but it can turn a lot of people off, and I just was really interested in see where the story was going, so I pushed past it. But it is something that I hope this is supposed to be a 2-parter. This is supposed to be the first part, and the second part is supposed to come out later in the year. Hopefully after that, and if they do a season 2 or part 3, that the dialogue can start upgrading now that they move pushing past the time period that the original He-Man is in and moving forward into the future. And I had in the good that they pushed the PG, and I really like that. But honestly, this show should have just been R-rated. I don't really see a lot of kids are really jumping in onto this show and really latching on and wanting to watch this. So this is mostly for adults. It's for middle-aged 30 to 40 to 50-year-old men and women who've seen the 1985, 1980s show. It's a direct sequel. It's not a reboot. So I really think they should have just pushed it to R-rated and really got into that gore and that violence, because it would have elevated the action in the show. I think, like I said, they did a good job of pushing PG as far as they could, but it could have elevated the show even more. Another thing about the show being elevated, I feel like I went into this not knowing that it was a sequel to the 1980s show, which obviously probably my fault. I should have did a little bit of research, but also even when I watched the trailer for the show, I didn't get that. I think that if you're not familiar with He-Man, it's going to be really hard to follow along what's going on in the show, because it dives right in. It dives like another season of a show that you were supposed to watch multiple seasons of. So if you're somebody new, do a quick wiki search or even a YouTube origins video on He-Man and the Masters Universe, so you can, jump in, and when you jump into the show knowing something about it, so you're not totally lost. Because I had to kind of refresh myself, because it's been a long time since I even seen the show, and I'm a fan. I used to collect the toys and all that, and I was kind of like, who's this person again? What is going on? What are they doing? But I caught on quickly as the episode went on, and it's not super complicated, but it can be for people who don't know anything about He. Let's talk about the ugly. So something that I feel greatly about, and this is just all forms of media, I feel like if you want to diversify the cast, which obviously I think all shows should start doing because that's the world we live in, and you want to push certain things, do not advertise to people that you're giving us one thing and then you're showing us another thing. And that's what this show did. If you think about something like The Last Jedi, or even if you're a video gamer, you played Last of Us Part 2. Those are two things that I like. I like Last Jedi. I know a lot of people don't like it, don't hate me, don't unsubscribe because you think I have a bad opinion now. And I really love Last of Us Part 2. And hey, if you don't like that game, you can unsubscribe from me now. The way those things were advertised felt like it was going to be one thing, and then when you watch it and then you play it, it's something different. I didn't mind it because with those two things, I feel like it was really good and it was trying to elevate the source material that it was in. Even though Last Jedi had problems, the problem with Masters of the Universe Revelation is that it doesn't elevate the He-Man Masters of the Universe up a notch. It kind of keeps it at the same while just doing things that core fans may not like. People who fondly remember the old stuff or even watch it often. Some people, have it on DVD, Blu-ray, and watches it. They do certain things in here with some of the deaths, with some of the changes, especially when it's starting in the first episode, that people don't like. And I think that shows and movies need to be upfront in what they're doing so people can go in knowing and not hate it. For me, the changes they made, I liked it. I thought it was interesting. I just wish that they elevated the whole series as a whole while doing it. Now let's talk about my verdict. If you watched any of my past videos, I used to rate things on a must-watch, watchable, and a pass. I've changed my grading system. I'm doing an A, B, C, D, F grading system now. I feel like it's more flexible and it helps a lot. And I think that this show is a C. I think it's a solid C. I think it's a really good, really good watch. And I really enjoyed what I saw, and I'm excited for the second part. The cliffhanger at the first episode and episode 4 and then episode 5 with the cliffhanger there really drew me in. And some of the mythos and stuff that we got throughout the show with the themes of technology and magic was really interesting. The characters are really interesting. I just think it meandered a little bit in the middle, and it didn't elevate the show, the series up a notch. It kept it kind of at the same. So if you really like He-Man and you really like that quality of content, you're going to like this show. If you weren't feeling He-Man before, this is not going to make you feel He-Man again. And if you're a fan of He-Man, you don't like the twists and the turns that they did here and some of the deaths that they did, then you're really not going to like it. So that's why I feel like why it's a C grade. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see my next video. Leave a comment, share it with your friends, and as always, have a wonderful day and peace.